Hello all, welcome to our channel. And today we are going to discuss about the topic called as basics of electricity. And here in this module, we will explore some fundamental concepts. So this is our module 1, which is introduction to the electricity. So let us move to the first slide. The very first question that we come across is what is an electricity? So as we know that electricity is essentially the flow of electric charge. So for example, you see through this picture, there is the electric current flowing, or in other words, electric charge is flowing through a piece of conductor. Right over here is a piece of conductor, and in between, through the picture, we can see that the electrons are moving in the conductor. So this is the basis of powering the modern world. All electronic gadgets, electrical appliances that we are surrounded with in today's world are the product of the electricity, which is essentially a flow of electric charge. Now, in the basics of electricity, we have to understand what is an electric charge and what is an atom. So there is this topic, electric charge and atoms. So every matter, whether it is piece of wood, piece of plastic, or piece of a conductor, that matter is made of atoms, many atoms. So here is a structural representation of one single atom. So at the core of this atom, at the very core of this atom, it consists of protons and electrons and neutrons. So atom in total consists of protons, electrons and neutrons. So protons and the neutrons are placed at the very core inside the atom. Inside the atom, at the core, the protons and neutrons are present. Whereas in the surrounding area of the atoms, as you can see that these are called as electrons. So protons have positive charge associated with them. Electrons, whereas right over here, they have negative charges associated with them. Whereas the neutrons, they do not have any charge. Okay. So as we see in the first slide, the electric charge is caused by the movement of electrons. So when the electrons move in the orbit, as shown right over here, there is a generation of electric charge. However, these electrons, which are linked to the orbits of the atoms, needs to be free electrons. That means they should gain some energy to leave the orbit of the atom and then travel through the medium, such as, for example, a piece of conductor, and so then only we will say the electric charge is produced because the electrons are moving. Now there is the third concept in the basics of electricity called as voltage, current, and resistance. So in the mechanical domain, we will see voltage is a kind of force, okay, or in terms of physics. Current, we will call it as a velocity, and the resistance is in the mechanical domain or in the physics is just a opposition to the quantity. So for example, the voltage is basically is a quantity that pushes the push that moves the charges. So when the voltage is applied, it creates the force to move the charges. Now then there is the current I, which is a flow of electric charge. So when the electric charges are moving, we call it as a current. And resistance is basically opposition to the current flow. So when the electric charges are moving, or in other words, when the current is moving, whatever the opposition is faced by the electric charge or the current, we call that quantity as resistance. So for example, let's say this analogy right over here, there is this place in which the water is flowing, and the water is coming through this pump. So this pump is supplying the water by means of some force. The water is coming out. So we will say that this is a kind of voltage in terms of analogy. Then the flow of water itself is nothing but the electric charge, or in other words, our current. And if that water is flowing, which is current, and there are stones placed inside the flow of this one that will oppose the flow of this water, we will say that stones are creating a resistance. So stones, opposition caused by the stones is resistance, flow of water is the current, and the force by which the water is coming from this pump is basically a voltage. So here in this picture, we see that electric bulb is powered by means of external voltage that pushes the charges through the filament of this bulb, and as a result current flows through the bulb, and the light is the final result. Okay, this is a multimeter that is connected across the bulb. We can measure the voltage, resistance, and the current, all these electrical quantities. So in the electronics or electrical domain, this resistance is the electrical passive component. The symbol is or the component, how it looks, it's shown right over here. So that is all about the very first and the basic module of electricity. We understood three concepts. What is electric charge? We understood the structure of an atom, and then we understood what is the voltage, current, and resistance, etc. So hope you found this model useful. If you did so, share it with others for a wider reach. Until then, stay tuned for more engaging content like this. Till then, wish you happy learning.